Welcome back to Inside the Vandals. I'm Dennis Patch, and now football is not the only thing going on here at the University of Idaho. Plenty of other activities as well, including the women's volleyball team, who got off to a great start hosting the first weekend of the season, the Nike Invitational. Meredith Metzger has more on the Vandals' start to the volleyball season.
The Idaho volleyball team kicked off its 2012 season with a second-place finish in the Nike Invitational held in Memorial Gym on the University of Idaho campus. The Vandals opened their tournament play with a close 5-game loss to Pacific. The loss snapped a 6-match home win streak carried over from last season. Sophomore middle blocker Alyssa Schultz stepped up as a leader for the Vandals, who won the first 2 games but gave up the final 3.
Yeah, we were a little nervous. Next time we'll come out a little stronger, but we knew that this was our home court and we had to defend it, but we fell short.
Idaho head coach Debbie Buchanan says small errors contributed to the loss.
We had too many errors from the service line and just weren't taking care of the ball. So that's something that we're definitely going to have to learn from. We have to finish from the very beginning of the match to the very end, and we're going to have to reduce our errors.
The Vandals certainly took their coach's advice and reduced their overall errors by 35% during their second match against Montana.
After losing the first set to the Grizzlies 30-28, the Vandals rallied to win the next 3, beating Montana by at least 7 points in each game. The win gave the Vandals the confidence they needed to beat border rival Washington State in a thrilling 5-game match.
Hundreds of Cougar and Vandal fans showed up to support their teams during the volleyball edition of the Battle of the Palouse. The Vandals took an early lead, beating Wazoo in the first game 25-19.
The Cougars won the next 2 games, but the Vandals battled back to win the 4th set 28-26 and the 5th set 15-13.
We didn't give up. A few years ago, we would have rolled just being, if you're down and you're going into the 5th game. And, they fought. They didn't give up. We were down in game 5, and they came back, and we rallied. And, so they have that belief, which is good. Now we just need to keep working on the skills side to go along with that. And, it's going to make us an even tougher team.
With the victory over Washington State, the Vandals finished second in the Nike Invitational with 2 wins and 1 loss. Schultz and junior outside hitter Allison Baker were both selected to the all-tournament team for their standout performances.
I think they deserved it. Allison was a big part of our offense. She passes, she's playing defense, she's blocking, she's making the big swings when we need it. And Alyssa's just been steady all weekend.
The Vandals continued their season with a trip to California, where they lost 4 consecutive matches. The team will head to Hawaii next for 3 matches against UCLA, Hawaii, and San Diego State in the Hawaii Volleyball Tournament. Volleyball isn't the only women's sport that has seen action so far this fall. Idaho women's soccer has also hit the field for the 2012 season. Kyle Westcott has the story.
The Idaho Vandals came into the weekend with a 1-1 record. The Vandals would lose their first contest against Gonzaga, but win against North Dakota State. Idaho controlled the first 15 minutes against the aggressive Gonzaga team and took an early lead with a goal by senior Joe Flockhart in the 9th minute.
It was an improvement from last weekend. We started off really strong, which was something that we struggled with so far this season. We came out of the blocks really good.
Things would quickly deteriorate for the Vandals as Gonzaga responded with 3 goals within a 26-minute span.
Second half, different kettle of fish. We got after them, we competed for every first and second ball, we won first and second balls, we played them higher up the field, we created again with some great movement and just a bit more determination. And I was proud of that second half. I'm never happy to lose, but much happier with the performance in that second half.
Idaho would score another goal in the 68th minute, courtesy of Amber Pinley, but were unable to close the gap.
They're a very good physical team, and it's something that our team has struggled with in the past, coming up against a top physical team like that, and I think we managed actually fairly well today than we have in the past, so it was good.
The Vandals played a different game against the North Dakota State Bison. The game was scoreless in the first half with opportunities on both ends. However, the Vandals jumped ahead with a goal by Chelsea Small in the 70th minute.
It was relentless. We just kept finishing and finishing and crashing in the box. Last year it was only a couple girls in the box, but today it was all of us and we all wanted a goal, so it was really great.
The Vandals would continue to keep the pressure on and score another goal in the 83rd minute to finish the game with a score of 2-0.
Second half, we were just more aggressive, more ruthless, and they just went for the kill,
The Vandals will travel to Florida and Eastern Washington before they are back home on September 16th against Washington State.
Thanks, Meredith, and thanks, Kyle, and we'll continue to keep an eye on women's volleyball and women's soccer here on Inside the Vandals. Now, every week we're going to introduce you to a story that we call Campus Connection. Has some kind of obvious connection to the University of Idaho. Well, in the first week of Inside the Vandals, a local painter has done something that maybe you and I wouldn't do, showing his spirit for the university, but not by wearing a hat or shirt or cheering loudly at the games. No, this man decided to paint his house the color of the Idaho Vandals. Here's more on Campus Connection.
University of Idaho spirit can be found all over the city of Moscow, but one Vandal house stands up above the rest.
Former University of Idaho student Nathan Vowles decided to show off his Vandal pride with style by painting the entire outside of his house black and gold.
The guys and I, we wanted to paint our house Vandal colors to give something back to the community and to get the Vandal pride and the spirit going. We've worked for Rob and Molly Akey before, and we think a lot of them. So
Vowles owns a painting company in Moscow and said it took about half a day to complete as groups of curious passerbys looked on.
Everybody likes it. We were a little bit wondering what people would think of it at first because it's a pretty bold statement, but everybody, it's positive energy and everybody's excited about it. People are stopping by and taking pictures, and the little kids are really enjoying it as well.
I think it's really interesting. It has certainly has it's a tribute to the Vandals for him.
Now that's school spirit. Thanks, Katie, for that report. And thank you for joining us for the first edition of this season's Inside the Vandals. Hopefully you'll be able to join us every week. When we come back next week, we'll take a look at that Bowling Green game and preview a trip to Death Valley, LSU. That's all on next week's edition for Inside the Vandals. For all of us here at the University of Idaho, Dennis Patchen saying so long.